Hey, welcome back to the channel, guys. And if you're new here, hi, I'm Jubloob. So this one is going to be a hard one for me. This is probably the hardest video I've ever made. And to be honest, I almost didn't record it because today I'm going to tell you the worst thing I've ever done in my life, and to all of you. And I'm telling you this because, you know, I think it taught me the most important thing I know today. This video is about responsibility, about being a man, about backing up your own choices like an adult instead of running away from them. Because for most of my life, that's exactly what I did. I ran from everything. I'm still learning English as I go, so bear with me if I trip on some words here and there, but let me just tell you what happened. First things first, you can subscribe and let a comment. Feel free to do it. I really want to engage this community. I'm building one, so I'm trying my best to a good channel for all of you. So my whole life I was running. Before I tell you the story, I gotta tell you about the pattern. And my whole life I was a runner. And I don't mean like in sports, you know. I mean, I ran from things, from responsibility, from hard conversations, from my own choices. Every single thing in my life, I had an excuse for it. Everything, man. I didn't do good in school. I had a reason. I didn't chase the thing I wanted. I had a reason. I messed something up. Well, it was never my fault, you know. There was always a story, always something outside of me to point at. Like, you know, I don't want to go to school. I don't want to get good grades. I want to just hang around. I was a basketball player, so I didn't want to commit to it because I wanted to fool around as well. And I was always getting behind other people because I didn't give all that I had. I never did. Here's the thing about excuses, you know. Excuses are just running away, but with extra steps. It's looking at a problem that it's yours, that you made, and finding a way to make it not yours, to hand it to someone else, to bad luck, to your parents, to anybody but you, even your friends maybe. And the thing nobody told me back then is when you get really good at excuses, you don't have to get good at anything else. That's the trap, man. Excuse feels like it's protecting you, but really it just keeps you exactly where you are, small, stuck, never growing, you know. I didn't know where I was going with in life. I had no direction, and a big part of it was because I was busy, so busy running away from my problems that I never once turned around and actually faced one, until I did something I couldn't run from. And here it is. There's no nice way to say it, so I'm just going to say it. I stole from my mother. Here in Brazil, I stole 10,000 reais from my mom. And from you that's aside from Brazil, probably you are. In dollars, it's like almost $2,000 from my mother, man. The person who raised me, you know. And I'm not going to sit here and give you the whole story of why, because it doesn't matter for this video, but all the reasons I told myself back then. Because here's something I really want you to understand. And it took me way too long to get it. The reason doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what my motivation was. It doesn't matter what I was going through. It doesn't matter how I justified in my own head. None of that changes the fact. And the fact is, I did it. I did something wrong, something that hurts, someone who loved me, and the other ones that are around me too, because my dad, he's not with my mother, they are divorced, but he really got upset with me, and I was living with him at the time, but everyone around me was too, you know. No excuse in the world makes that not true. I felt horrible. I felt like like a a thief, you know, because I was one of them. I was one, and it's pretty bad to look back and know that I had this stain in my life. I had this idiotic thing that I did, and I could just not do it. Well, if it means something, it helped me. Today, I realized that that was a step to me not doing something worse and still getting ahead of myself in life. In this moment, I really want you to pay attention to, because this is where everything turns. For the first time in my life, I was standing in front of a mistake that I could not run. I couldn't excuse my way out. I couldn't point at anybody else. It was mine, completely 100% my fault. And that's when I started to pay the price. Here's what happened after that. I ended up going to a boarding school. You know, one of those where you actually live there inside. And I stayed there for maybe a year and a half until I graduated in school. And I want to be honest about that year and a half, man, because it's not some movie where I go away and I come back all fixed. That's not what happened, because I brought myself with me and I was still a runner. That may be the most anxious time of my whole life. So much anxiety. You have no idea, man. You have no idea. And instead of facing it, instead of using the time to actually deal with my problems, I did the only thing I knew how to do. I just ran in a new place. I numbed myself. I filled the hole with easy stuff: smoking, drinking, going out, chasing girls, whatever gave me a quick hit, so I didn't have to feel what I was feeling. And anything to not sit with myself for 1 second. And none of it worked. That's the part I need you really to hear me. None of it ever worked. Because that easy stuff, the numbing stuff, it turns the feeling off for one night. And then the problem is right in the morning. Ready for me, for you. Bigger than before, every single time. And it was really bad, because I didn't study. I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't feeling any purpose, and it was just in a really bad place, you know, not the physical place in my head I'm talking about. And there was a real cost to all that running. Here in Brazil, we have this exam called ENEM. For you guys that are watching outside, I think it's like the one big national test that basically decides which university you can get into. It's the exam, like something really big. If you want to go into college, you have to do it for a public college, because the better universities in Brazil, they're all public, and the government pays for them. They're federal or from the state, but you have to do this exam to get into one. And I neglected. I didn't study the way I needed to, because I was too busy numbing myself and running from everything. So when the time came, I didn't get into the course I wanted. I lost that because of the running. I've accomplished to get into a course, but it wasn't something I wanted to do. related to, but not exactly what I wanted. And that's the price, you know. It wasn't just the school, it wasn't just a thing with my mom. The price was years of my life where I kept picking the easy escape, and every time I picked, I paid for it later. Running is never free, man. You always pay. You just pay later, and with interest, which is the worst thing. So here's what all of that finally taught me. Not only that, I've been through a lot since then. That happened maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and I was just realizing that a few months back. And this is the really the main thing I want to say today. I used to think being strong, being a man, meant never messing up, being tough, having everything together, never failing. And that's completely wrong, man. Because everyone messes up. Everyone falls. Everyone has a worse thing they did. And I stole from my own mom. I'm not up here as some perfect guy telling you how to live your life. I'm kind of the opposite of that. Being a man is never about failing. Being a man is about what you do after your fail. It's about standing in front of your mistake and saying, that was me, I did that, and it's mine. No excuses. No pointing at somebody else, no running. You take the weight of it, the full weight, even when it's heavy, even when it's embarrassing, even when it would be easy to just blame something else. That's responsibility. And responsibility, you know, that's the thing that separates a boy from a man. Not your age, not your muscles, not how tough you act. Just this one thing: do your own life or you run from it. I think that's something I really felt into today. Not today, but at the time now, because I'm having to get my life fixed one bit at a time. I was pretty bad at this college, and I was always faulting something because I didn't want to do it and everything else. But thing is, I have to do it. I don't have any other options. There aren't any options to me right now besides doing this college and doing investing in my business or doing this channel. I don't have anything else. That's what I have. So I have to do it. And I was the king of excuses. I want to tell you straight, being the king of excuses got me nothing. It kept me small, it kept me stuck, and it cost me years. And I say years because it took me a long time to realize that. The day I finally stopped running and I said, okay, this is mine, all of it. That day was the day I actually started to growing up. Not before that, that exact day, man. So if there's one thing I want you to take from my whole mess, it's this: stop running, whatever it is you've been avoiding, the conversation, the responsibility, the truth about yourself. Turn around and face it. I promise you, it's lighter in your hands than it's on your back. You may feel bad, you will feel bad. Either way, you will feel bad. If you run from it, you'll be forever with that feeling in the back of your mind that you could do better. You have the potential, but you didn't seek it. You didn't do anything to develop yourself. And when you truthful to yourself, what happens is it may hurt. It probably will, but the pain makes everyone stronger. When you have some problem in your life and you feel pain, it's because the need to change, it will only come when you feel the pain. If you don't, nothing will change. So where am I now after all of this? I'm trying to be that guy, you know. Every day I'm working towards my goals, and I'm not perfect at it. I fail a lot, but I'm really trying. There are days that I have a lot of things in my mind, and even though I have this, I sit my ass down and do whatever I have to do. And I'm taking responsibility now for the stuff that I make, for my little 3D printing business. If it's slow, that's on me. And I just keep showing up for my failures, for my growth, all of it. It's all mine now. And honestly, besides every day, I don't get any money. I'm trying to find some good products to sell. And every day is a slow step. But I'm getting there, and it feels good. It's heavy, but it's a good type of heavy, you know. You know why? It's because when everything is your responsibility, that also means everything is in your power to change. And that's the trade. I'm not saying there are things that aren't in your control. There is. But if you have a goal in mind, if you have a dream, you have to seek it, man. No matter what the cost is. Obviously, if you're not doing something bad, you have to go and show yourself every day, and you will every day you're gonna be hit by life, because life is like that. It throws you on the ground, but you have to get up and continue trying. And I don't run anymore. Okay, I can be honest. When I catch myself starting to run, I stop and I turn around, because that feeling, I've been my whole life feeling that, so it is still an habit, and I'm trying to stop it. That's really the whole difference between who I was and who I'm becoming. You know, I keep coming back to this image in my head of a phoenix, a bird that rises up of the ashes. But the thing people forget about the phoenix is, before it rises, it has to burn all the way down, and it has to be honest about the fire. And this video telling you all of this is me being honest about my fire. So if any of this hits you, here's what I want from you. 3 little things. First, this video means something to you. Hit that like button, please. For a small channel like mine, it really does help other people to find it. And honestly, this one was hard to make, so it would mean a lot to me. And if you can, subscribe, because I'm putting the real stuff here, the honest stuff. And I'd love to have you around here for the time that you want. And third, the one that matters the most, down in the comments, tell me, what is the one thing you've been running from? You don't have to tell the whole story. You don't have to explain. Just name it. Even to strangers on the internet, it doesn't really matter, because naming it's the first step to facing it. And I'm going to read every single one, and I'm right here, still learning to stop running from myself. I want to thank all of you that subscribe to my channel, because it's really special to see, and it's really cool to see your channel growth. I'm not growing like exponentially a lot, but still is something that I really appreciate. And that's it, guys. Thank you for hanging out with me, especially on a heavy one like this. If you want to hear more of my story, I got some other videos here too. No pressure. But for now, go face your thing. I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.